Much for making time on the marketplace today, and welcome back. Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association (GUTA) has called for the suspension of the cargo tracking note system (CTN). This and other concerns were raised at the media briefing in Accra. Karen Dodu brings us more.
The Ghana Revenue Authority says the introduction of the CTN system is in line with its drive to modernize operations for facilitation of legitimate trade in accordance with international best practices. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia earlier suspended the implementation of the CTN in May this year, but was effected by the GRA on the 1st of July. According to GUTA, it was caught unawares by the reintroduction of the system. They have vowed to kick against it until broader consultations are made with stakeholders. Dr. Joseph Obeng is president of GUTA.
It is an open secret that the use of discretion is a recipe for corruption, which has been the bane of the challenges at the port. We also seek reduction of the duty rates to make it affordable for absolute compliance and give meaning to the concept. If the policymakers are very certain that the system will really enhance on the valuation system, if these concerns of the trading public are not given the serious attention they deserve, it is our resolve then not to accept the implementation.
Government recently gave the deadline for all foreign retailers to meet the necessary requirements to operate. Dr. Obeng called on government to enforce the GIPC law on foreign retailers illegally trading in the country.
We would like to remind fellow Ghanaians that we have been very civil, obedient to our laws, and even to the extent that at the peak of our frustrations, agitations, and protestations, we closed our minds to the violence that had erupted in other countries. We would like to commend the government for the bold decision and, of course, to do what is legitimate, even though it has been long overdue. However, we will also caution the authorities, including the national security, that after the deadline, expectations of the trading community will be very high on enforcement of the law.
GUTA has given government 27th of July as the deadline to regulate foreign retailers in the country.
Now, yesterday we hit the car spare parts market at Abossey here in Accra to get some understanding on how the VAT is calculated and how these products and how it works on prices of these products. Norvan Akwa-Hayford has come through with this report.
Hi, my name is Odilia Ntiamoa.
My name is Norvan Akwa-Hayford.
And my name is Philip Nanfuri.
Okay, so the Minister for Finance will be going to Parliament on Thursday, and what his focus will be is on the budget review. What exactly is he going to be looking at? Taxes may be on top of, well, the discussion. One of the key things that he may be looking at is a possible increment of the VAT by some 21 or up to 21.5%. Today on AM Business, we talk about how these taxes could affect you. I will be hitting town to look at how this directly affects everything that you consume, gentlemen.
I will be heading to Abossey. I love vehicles, and the fact that our roads are not very good, you always have to go to the workshop. And if you have to go there, you need to get that new part to replace what has been damaged. How much is it going for currently on the market? And if the VAT is increased, how much will you be paying? Join me when we get to Abossey. We'll find out.
And I'll be heading to Osu to look for any tasty food joint to find out how much exactly it's going to cost when I fill up my little tummy anytime I eat. So join me in Osu to find out how much exactly we're going to be paying for our food henceforth.
Okay, so Nanfuri, just walk us through the numbers from 2013, exactly when the budget, the VAT was introduced. What were the figures, and up till today, what are they?
Okay, so prior to that, we were paying a VAT rate of 12.5%. In 2013, there was a law that was passed that saw an increase of 2.5%, bringing our VAT to 15%. And you know we have the NHI, that's the National Health Insurance Levy of 2.5%. That's added to it, bringing a total of 17.5%. Now the possible increase to 21.5%. We want to know how much exactly our goods and services that we consume are going to change or is going to change.
Okay, so my beautiful dress, if I went to the shop, will be affected, and of course, their fine suits.
Looking darker in my suit as well.
Okay, will be affected. The gentlemen are confident. Let's hit the town now and find out exactly how that affects you. Let's go, gentlemen.
Okay, all right. All right, we are looking at what the impact of the VAT increase would be, and today we find ourselves at Abosokan. This is where you get all the spare parts that you need for your vehicle. We're here to find out, should they increase the VAT, what will be its impact on what you buy in terms of the parts that you buy for your vehicle. Whether it's a home-use vehicle parts that you need or it's a brand new one that you need to buy, you can find it here at Abosokan. But what will be the impact of the VAT should the government increase it? I need a bearing for my vehicle, a Toyota RAV4.
Where is it?
I see. Let me check if that is exactly what I am looking for. Okay, all right. So how much is this now?
It's going for 60 Ghana.
60 Ghana cedis. Yes. Does it include VAT?
No, please.
It doesn't include VAT.
Yes, please.
So, and you charge 3% flat rate?
Flat rate, yes.
So it means that you calculate the 3% flat rate?
Yes.
So how much would that be if you add that to it?
Excuse me, 60 times 3. To be 61 Ghana cedis. 61
Ghana cedis. So you had it for yourself. Now this is actually sold for 61 Ghana cedis because of the 3% VAT rate that they have to pay. Should the government decide to increase the rate, you know that the normal consumption VAT or the normal VAT that we have to pay is currently at 17.5, and 17.5 they are considering taking it to 21.5. That is some 3% that is added. Let's add another 3% to the 3% you already have. So 6% on 60 Ghana cedis. How much would that be?
I'm not getting it.
6% instead of 3%. You do 6
times 6%. 63.
Wow. So if you have to buy a part for your vehicle here at Abosokan, remember that that also will be going up. Currently at 61 Ghana cedis, including the 3% VAT rate. But if it has to go up by another 3%, then you are thinking of having to buy this at around 63 Ghana cedis approximately. I'll move to another shop, which is Richardo's Auto Parts, and we want to find out what they know about VAT, if they are charging VAT, and what exactly this means to them. So, good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
Fine afternoon. My name is Kwesi Poku, but I'm known here as Willie. That's how everybody knows me at Abosokan.
Okay, Kwesi, do you charge VAT here?
Yeah, we charge a 3% VAT flat rate. Yeah.
Flat rate, that's what you charge here. Yeah. Would you support any increment to the 3% that you already charge?
For now, no.
All right, so we now know that government is no more going to, charge or increase the VAT from the current 17.5% to 21.5%. This follows an emergency cabinet meeting which was held yesterday, and my colleague George Riafi has joined me in the studio now to tell us some of the developments surrounding this decision not to increase or to maintain the VAT. George, first, why is this decision coming at this time?
So there were several proposals that were put before cabinet to look at how we can, or the country can improve, or the finance minister was looking at how he can improve revenue in terms of addressing all the challenges with loopholes and all the rest. And there were several proposals that were tabled for Cabinet to consider. One of them was possibly increasing VAT from the current 17.5% to about 20 or even 21%. Now, at the first Cabinet meeting, there were concerns, or the President raised issues actually with this tax and its impact on Ghanaians. So the decision was that can you go back and bring a revised version or an alternative or another one for us to consider? Remember, there was an emergency cabinet, emergency economic management meeting as well to look at this. At that meeting, they all thought that it is still prudent to push the VAT argument forward. So it went back again to cabinet to look at this, one of several measures that they are looking at to improve revenue and more of a sustainable way in improving revenue in the country. This was one of the measures, and government was saying that they want to look beyond this year. As cost of free SHS goes up, the nation's builders call goes up. How are we going to fund this? And that is why they were looking at this. But they thought that the president thought that is going to burden Ghanaians too much, and therefore let's look at other avenues that can be explored to improve revenue, but not the VAT rate going up. One
of the other major considerations was the fact that we needed to increase the VAT to be able to cater for the National Health Insurance Scheme, which is quite in a deplorable condition now. Now, what is the way out? What is the next option now that VAT is to be maintained?
We understand that in terms of Senate contributions, that could be going up, and that will be used to support the NHIR right now, but not the VAT rate going up. So we will still have a situation where, in terms of the amount of money that you contribute from your salary to support the National Health Insurance Scheme, that could be going up. But it's still not over yet. I mean, the notes are being revised, and tomorrow morning we'll get a fair idea on which of the plans the finance minister is going to go with. Is the plan A or the plan B, or other measures that we understand that he's still working on to present tomorrow morning to Parliament.
And what are we expecting tomorrow morning?
Well, what we are expecting, one thing we are sure that he would also be coming up with other measures that might not necessarily got to do with taxation. Okay. So strong on compliance, ensuring that we go after those who are supposed to pay taxes and they are not paying, because it's been established that out of 6 million persons that should be paying tax, only 2 million are doing so. So you see that there are still a lot of activities going on out there that they are not throwing the net that wide to capture. So for those out there who are not paying taxes, well, in the coming months, you see GRA being more tough on you, coming out to ensure that if you have collected VAT on behalf of government, you have to pay. So heavy on compliance, using several electronic channels as well to ensure that everybody is captured and for that person to pay tax as well. And that could go a long way to address this problem with the leakage, the loopholes, and the corruption and all the rest.
Now, as far as we know, it's going to be a review of the 2018 budget. Do we also expect the finance minister to come across with some policy measures?
Well, we are not sure for now. As far as you're concerned, this document that he's going to present he's required by the Financial Administration Act to do that. Okay. So first, give us a fair view of what has happened for the first 6 months of the year. Also give us an outlook for the rest of the year. Let's look at revenue. How is revenue doing? Update us. The figures suggest that we are still down by 1.1 billion Ghana cedis against what they projected. So he's going to do all these things. As at now, we still don't know whether he would consider a supplementary budget. That means that he'll be seeking Parliament's approval to additional spending for revenues that have come in. And it's still not clear in that area, but just a review of the numbers and tell us that I expect X amount of money instead of that, and therefore let me just tell Parliament about this, or whether the existing measures cannot get the X amount of revenue you're looking for, and therefore we have to change that. And maybe we should not rule out maybe a supplementary budget as well.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so much,
George, for that update. So it is expected that we will see some new taxes introduced, and we understand property tax is one of the areas that government is also considering an increment, as well as government also looking at enhancing better revenue mobilization. Let's now get on the phone lines and get some more understanding to this particular development, and we join on the line by economist Courage Mate with Data Bank. Courage, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace.
Good afternoon, my brother. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we hear government is no more going to increase the VAT to 21.5%, as was being speculated. Now, in your own opinion, what would be, the other option for government to explore bearing the fact that government really needs to beef up its revenue levels?
Well, so the options are very obvious, even from the 2018 perspective. First of all, you look at the numbers indicated in there. We have a potential taxpayers of about 6 million people, but only 1.5 million people is known according to the Revenue Authority. So it means that there is a shortfall of about 75% or 4.5 million potential to come in. So that is immediately some area you want to target rather than increasing the burden on the existing lot. Then you go to the VAT segment. The VAT penetration rate is just about 11%. There are a lot more outside of the VAT system. So increasing the VAT rate on the existing 11% again will be so much of a burden. And I think that it could ultimately hurt the revenue mobilization effort, because then there will be those who would recalibrate their expenditure basket and then go outside into the lower value goods and then pay lesser tax, and government revenue projections will be undermined. So first of all, let's look at broadening the tax base rather than deepening it, so that we can capture a lot more people. Then again, we can be able to mobilize more with limited burden per capita. So for me, that's the first point. The second option, and I have heard this being said, and I agree with the philosophy behind it, is that when you have to impose a strain on the health insurance system or scheme as a result of certain lifestyle or behavior, then you should be able to take an insurance policy to cover it. And so if you engage in the consumption of alcohol, tobacco, and other things that would adversely affect your health, you don't want to do that and needlessly put a strain on the insurance system. If you are going to do that, then there should be some measures that will scoop something out of you into a pool in the days awaiting you to come, if you're going to come for treatment. So I think that, again, some of these measures should also be looked at, and then you can also bypass those who would be living a normal life and will not be putting too much strain on the health insurance system.
Now, Courage, at the onset of the 2018 budget, government put petroleum benchmark, pricing benchmark at 57 or so, and now we realize that we have an increased, price levels or margins looking at the price on the international market now. So it means government certainly has made some gains. Would that also impact on the revenue mobilization and the budget review?
Well, I think those particular ones, it is very good news that that is coming through, and it should ease the revenue pressure a little bit. But you can't bank your hopes entirely on what is happening on the world market, because it is quite volatile. Today it is at 70. Tomorrow, certain geopolitical developments could just make it drop below 70. I think that based on the developments on the market, we are set to close the year with some windfall as far as that is concerned. However, the expenditure pressure is also mounting. Government is under pressure to start executing some of its social and economic intervention programs, like the free SHS, like the One District, One Factory, and so on and so forth. And when you go specifically into the free SHS, the pressure will mount, because we are going to enter the second year of implementation with additional burden. And so the expenditure basket is going to be bigger, and the revenue implication must also be bigger. And so even though there may be some windfall, I think that would also be offset by the increase in the expenditure basket. Let's also remember that there are arrears that need to also be cleared from the past. Initially, as of 2017, the expectation was to clear about 1 billion or 3 billion cedis worth of arrears. But the 2018 budget is estimating something in the region of 800 million cedis, less than even 1 billion cedis, because of the pressures that are mounting from other sectors.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Courage Martes, an economist with Data Bank. Now, still on the media review, as government considers tax policy measures ahead of the review, Executive Director at the Center for Extractive and Development Africa, SEDA, Emmanuel Kunyile, is calling for a review of tax exemptions in the extractive sector. He says there are too many exemptions that affect domestic revenue mobilization. Emmanuel Kunyele spoke to Joy Business at the launch of the 2018 IFED Flamingo Awards for Business and Financial Journalism. Daryl Kwao reports.
The extractive sector makes significant contribution to Ghana's economy in terms of revenue mobilization. However, some loopholes in the taxation regime are denying the country of much more revenue. Government is currently struggling to meet its revenue targets, and there are speculations that it may increase taxes to make up for the shortfall. However, speaking at the launch of this year's IFED Flamingo Awards for Business and Financial Journalism, Executive Director at the Center for Extractives and Development Africa, Emmanuel Kunyele, said the extractive sector could contribute more if these loopholes are closed.
The specific case of Ghana, with the recent changes in the tax regime and so on, that's been good. The problem has been complying with the laws that we ourselves have put in place. There are too many exemptions that the government is giving that is very difficult to comprehend or understand the rationale behind that, what is informing that. Knowing that when you give out those exemptions, it is revenue you are giving away. And so if you don't have anything to complement that, then you're going to lose revenue.
The 5th edition of the IFED Flamingo Awards, which is expected to be held in December this year, would reward fully subscribed IFED members who have worked on remarkable news stories in various fields of business and finance reporting. Professor John Gache is chairman of this year's jury, and he shares his expectations.
As we spell out clearly what we are looking for, we are not expecting just going for it.
All right, so we have to wrap up here, and of course we'll bring you some more analysis ahead of the 2018 budget review, plus a post-budget review analysis tomorrow after presentation. My name is Manu Abwaji. Thank you very much for joining me, and have a good afternoon.